I, too, would like to welcome you to our team. Our company offers a wide variety of very important careers, from truck driving to accounting, from selling to data processing, and literally dozens of others. Most of us achieve very high levels of excellence in our chosen fields, and if you're interested in advancement, there's tremendous opportunity if you're willing to work hard. This program is divided into these 4 categories. First, we'll discuss our company's values. These are the principles that we believe in, what we stand for as a company. These values influence our on-the-job behavior and our on-the-job performance, which ultimately affect our commitment to our customer. To illustrate each area, we'll be looking at good and poor examples in the workplace. But before we get started, let's take a look at a popular puzzle that's been around for a long time, but still makes a very interesting point. Notice these 9 dots placed an equal distance from each other. Your instructor will ask you to draw this pattern on a piece of paper. You'll then be asked to connect all 9 dots using 4, but 4 only, straight lines, never lifting your pen from the page. I'll be back in a few moments. Good luck. Well, how did you make out? If you were able to figure out the solution to the puzzle, or if you already knew the answer, great. If you weren't able to solve the puzzle, don't worry. At first, I couldn't either. What's interesting is that for many of us, the solution doesn't come easily because we can't see a way to do it outside the area indicated by a square. In fact, the only way to solve the puzzle is to extend our thinking beyond normal parameters. That's what we're asking you to do with our company. Think beyond the normal parameters for your job and then go for it. If you do, you will achieve levels of excellence you've never dreamed you were capable of. Try starting with today's program. Go beyond your 9 dots. Get involved. Participate like you've never done before. You might just surprise yourself. Let's pause now so that you and your instructor can discuss how you can best participate in this program. Now let's get started. Our 7 company values are: we are a team, we are positive, we care about people, we achieve excellence, we are sales and profit motivated, we have integrity, and we are accountable. As I mentioned, these company values are the principles we believe in, what we stand for as a company. Now, let's introduce you to our team players. Our poor example is Frank. And our good examples are Jack and Kathy. From time to time, we'll also see examples from our characters Ted and Sue. Today, we'll see scenes from several different departments. Well, that's not to say that these are the only areas in our company, far from it. But we feel that these examples will represent the points that we wish to make for everyone. The first company value we'll look at is we are a team. Teamwork is all of us working together. Let's take a look at Jack, Frank, and Ted.
How's it going, Frank? Busy day?
Oh, no, it's not too bad.
Hey, great. You think you can give me a hand with this load here?
Oh, well, no, I don't think so, Ted. I actually have quite a few other things to do.
Need some help, Ted?
Yeah, please.
I think we can see why Frank is our poor example. First, he said he wasn't busy. Then, when he found out Ted needed a hand, his story changed. Frank was too lazy to be a team player. Thanks to Jack, Ted was able to get the job done, and done quickly. If we want to win as a company, we must work together as a team. Now, let's take a look at Kathy and Sue.
Finished all the keying, Sue. Need a hand with anything?
Oh, that would be great.
What can I help you with?
Well, these need to be sent out this afternoon.
Okay.
If you could just sort them for me and just...
Now, that's a good example of working together as a team. Kathy is a team player. Ray Kroc, the late founder of McDonald's restaurants, once said, "None of us is as good as all of us." Well, there's a story that I know that emphasizes Mr. Kroc's point. The story is about a farmer who needed to haul a huge load of hay to the next town in his wagon. The problem was the poor farmer couldn't afford any horses, so he harnessed himself to the tongue of the wagon and gave a mighty heave. The wagon didn't budge. So the story goes, the farmer called 4 of his neighbors together to help. Laughing at their friend's pointless struggle, the 4 neighbors each wrestled a wheel of the wagon and with a shout pushed with all their combined strength. Creaking and groaning, the heavy wagon began to move. As the wagon built up momentum, it became easier and easier to push. And soon the 5 men were hurtling down the road, and even deep ruts or hills didn't slow their incredible pace. But after several miles, the farmer noticed it was becoming more and more difficult to pull the wagon. A mile or so farther, the poor farmer could barely move. Well, soon the wagon stopped, and no matter how hard he strained, the farmer couldn't move it 1 more inch. Exhausted and sweating, the farmer looked back to see what was wrong, and there they were, all 4 of his neighbors riding in the back with the load. Think of the story this way. Our company president is the farmer, and each of the farmer's neighbors represents a major department in our company. Alone, no matter how hard our president works, the job can't be done. If we ride in the back with the load, the wagon will stop. But with all of us working together as a team, we can achieve our goals. Your work counts. Let's take a moment to discuss teamwork in your department and how your department works together with other departments in our company. Now let's move on to our next company value. We are positive. A positive attitude is being confident. Let's join Kathy, Jack, and Frank.
I've been selling a lot of our accessories with that said.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Kathy.
Congratulations, Jack. I hear you were the #1 salesperson last month.
Thank you.
But you better watch out. I'm going for it this month.
Well, I hate to disappoint you, Kathy, but I'm going for 2 in a row. I had a really good day last week.
Top salesperson. I'll never be top salesperson. Not good enough. Too many bad breaks. Yeah, that's it. Just unlucky.
It has nothing to do with luck, Frank. It's your negative attitude. In the 1st century AD, Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but the views which they take of them." Frank focuses on the negative. Jack and Kathy focus on the positive. And look what it does for their confidence. There's a poem that illustrates the importance of thinking positive, and it goes like this. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out in this world we find success begins with a person's will. It's all in the state of mind. Now, let's pause so that you and your instructor can discuss a positive attitude on the job. Now let's move on to our next value. We care about people. Caring about people is respecting others. This time we see Kathy and Frank.
Frank, could you look after that customer?
Oh, no. Not another one of these. Why can't they act like us when they're in our country, huh? He's probably a real screamer, too. Gee.
When we say we care about people, we mean all people, Frank. There's no room for showing prejudice in our company. Our customers, our co-workers, and our suppliers are made up of all races and religious beliefs. And what if the customer was a screamer? All the reason to care even more. Unfortunately, all this says something about Frank's attitude toward people. How do you see others? Do you view them critically, or do you see the good in people? Will Rogers once said, "I've never met a man I didn't like." Well, he looked for the characteristics in a person that he liked. Practice looking for the good in people. Your success in dealing with them starts with the way you see them. Let's take a moment now to discuss caring about people on the job. Now let's move on to our next company value. We achieve excellence. Excellence is our goal. We now see Jack and Frank.
Yeah, enough. Okay, this one's all done. I'm gonna go for coffee.
Well, that sure didn't take you very long.
Hey, it's good enough.
Good enough for who, Frank? Fortunately, Jack takes pride in his work. He treated that table as if it were his very own and took the initiative to touch up scratches that Frank left behind. Achieving excellence on the job can add self-fulfillment to your life. When Jack goes home at the end of a workday, he can feel the satisfaction of a job well done. As Vince Lombardi, the legendary head coach of the Green Bay Packers, once put it, the quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their contribution to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. Let's pause now so that you and your instructor can discuss what excellence means in your department. Now let's look at our next company value. We are sales and profit motivated. Sales and profits are our future. Let's see Jack and Kathy.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that'll be fine.
Oh, thanks.
Hi, Jack.
Oh, hi, Kathy.
Congratulations. I hear you're being promoted.
Thank you. I'm sure you'll be next.
I hope so.
Well, if business keeps up, there should be another opening soon.
Good job, Jack. You deserve that promotion. In that scene lies one of the simple truths about business. Job security, growth, and advancement are only possible in a successful company. If sales and profits keep up, so do opportunities. Like Henry Ford said, it's not the employer who pays the wages. He only handles the money. It's the product that pays the wages. In other words, it's the sales and the profits from the products that we sell that pay our wages. Later on in this program, you'll be learning two basic business skills. At that time, we will discuss how you can contribute to our company's sales and profits. But for now, let's take a moment to discuss job security, growth, and advancement opportunities in your department and throughout our company. Now let's move on to our next company value. We have integrity. Integrity is living by our values. Our values are the things that we stand for. Integrity is living by these values. Let's watch as Jack and Frank interact with our customer, Mrs. Stevens.
Frank, I have a customer coming in. She's going to be looking for me. Her name's Mrs. Stevens. She's real nice. I'm going for a quick bite. Would you page me when she comes in?
Oh, yeah, sure, Jack, no problem.
Great.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
I'm looking for Jack.
Oh, you'd be Mrs. Stevens. Yeah, well, Jack doesn't seem to be around right now. But I could help you. I'm sure you wouldn't mind.
Well, if you think it's okay. I've been looking at a
sure.
dining room set.
Dining room set. Yeah, all right, over here.
If we can't trust our coworkers, then who can we trust? Jack spent a lot of time with Mrs. Stevens. How would Frank feel if someone cheated him out of a sale? In order to work together as a team, our company must be based on trust. Thomas Jefferson once said, when you do a thing, ask yourself how you would act were all the world looking at you, and act accordingly. Integrity is a serious issue, and in our company, we treat it that way, especially when an important trust is broken, such as in the form of employee theft. Let's pause now so that you and your instructor can discuss integrity and what you should do if you suspect someone may be stealing from our company. Now let's move on to our 7th company value. We are accountable. Accountability is being responsible. Let's see Kathy and Frank.
Hi, Kathy. What you doing?
Oh, I'm just going to pick up my report for today's meeting. Did you get yours run yet?
Report. I forgot to schedule it. When's the meeting?
Right away, Frank.
The famous French dramatist Molière once said, "It is not only what we do, but also what we do not do for which we are accountable." Kathy had a report to complete, and she got it done on time. Frank, on the other hand, completely forgot. It's the difference between being a winner or a loser. The winner is part of the answer. The loser is part of the problem. The winner has the job done. The loser has an excuse. Accountability can be summed up in 10 two-letter words. If it is to be, it is up to me. If you want to be a success, it's up to you. Now, let's take a moment to discuss what you are accountable for in your department. We have now completed the company values section of our course. Our company values again are: we are a team, we are positive, we care about people, we achieve excellence, we are sales and profit motivated, we have integrity, and we are accountable. As we mentioned earlier, these company values influence how we behave and perform on the job. Let's move on to our next category: on-the-job behavior. In the mid-1950s, Dr. Eric Berne developed a popular theory of human behavior from which we have derived 3 key behavioral qualities: the enthusiasm of a child, the sensitivity of a parent, and the composure of an adult. Let's take a closer look at these 3 key qualities: enthusiasm, sensitivity, and composure. Thomas Edison once said, "Enthusiasm is the starting point of all success." That sounds like a great place to start. Enthusiasm. Get motivated. This time we see Jack and Frank.
Hey, Frank. Come on. You got to see this new wall unit we got in. It is incredible.
A positive attitude generates enthusiasm, and vice versa. Jack's enthusiasm shows in his personality and his excitement about his job. Frank, on the other hand, is apathetic and indifferent. No wonder that Jack was Salesperson of the Month. And Frank, well, what can I say? Enthusiasm is that certain something that makes us great, that pulls us out of the mediocre and the commonplace. Enthusiasm is the inspiration that makes us wake up and live. It changes a deadpan salesperson to a producer, a pessimist to an optimist, a loafer to a go-getter. Not everyone has enthusiasm, but fortunately, enthusiasm is something you can cultivate if you're willing to work at it. William James, the father of American psychology, said, "If you want a quality, act as if you already have it." He called it the as-if principle. Now, this principle allows you to assume any behavioral quality or personality trait by acting it out. For example, if you want to be enthusiastic, act as if you are enthusiastic, and with practice, you will become enthusiastic. Now, we're going to take some time to participate in a fun exercise on acting with enthusiasm. First, your instructor will ask you to choose a plain object in the room. This object can be anything, from a pen, a light switch, or perhaps even the chair you're sitting on. But it can't be anything fancy. Once you've chosen a plain object, you'll be given a few seconds to think about all the good features about it. You'll then pick a partner and take turns acting with enthusiasm about the object you've chosen. The purpose of this exercise is to act with enthusiasm, with exaggeration. Give it all you've got. Act as if it's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to you. Here's a chance for you to go beyond your 9 dots. Have fun. I don't know about you, but when I first did this exercise, I didn't realize I could get so excited about a pen, the most incredible device ever invented by man. The point of the exercise is the as-if principle really works. If we can get enthusiastic about a plain object, we can get enthusiastic about our jobs. Now, let's move on to our second key quality, sensitivity. Be considerate. This time, we see Kathy and Sue.
Hey, Kath, what do you think of this idea for a newspaper ad?
It's interesting, Sue. It seems a bit bold for me. Would you mind if I made a suggestion?
Sure.
Well, why don't you put it in...
Kathy uses sensitivity. Now let's see Frank in the same situation.
Hey, Frank, what do you think of this idea for a newspaper ad?
Are you kidding? That's terrible.
Lay off, Frank. That's not caring about people. Sue was trying to be creative with the ad. You don't have to laugh at her ideas and make her feel bad. Kathy had some problems with Sue's ad as well, but she handled the situation with sensitivity. She also offered advice on how she thought the ad might be improved. Sensitivity is being considerate. It's helping rather than hurting. It starts with caring about people, and it grows from there. You know it when you see it. Sometimes it's just common courtesy, like saying, "Excuse me," or "I'll do it." "Is that too much trouble?" Or "Please," "Thank you," "Have a good day." It's up to you. Seems like a good place to stop, doesn't it? It's up to you. Because how courteous you decide to be is up to you. John Wanamaker, the master merchant, once said, "Courtesy is the one coin we can never have too much of, nor ever be stingy with." Following that principle brought him wealth and fame. I think probably the most appreciated form of sensitivity is known as the compliment. There's a saying that goes, "A few kind words take only seconds to say, but their echoes can go on for years." We're going to take a few moments to enjoy another fun exercise, this one in giving and receiving compliments. It's a great exercise on sensitivity. Your instructor will ask you to pay a compliment to the person sitting next to you. Now, it can be something about their talents or their personality, or simply that you like what they're wearing. Most importantly, though, be sincere. You'll circle around the room until everyone has given and received a compliment. Now, didn't that feel good? People thrive on compliments. It can make a person's day, so why not give more? Let's move on to our third key quality, composure. Keep your cool. Here we have Frank, Ted, and Jack.
Hey, Frank, got some more returns for you.
What are you guys trying to do to me? We're swamped back here, and you keep bringing me back more than you deliver.
Look, I do my job, you do yours. And don't scream at me.
Frank?
What?
Okay.
Take it easy, Frank. It's busy for everyone. Take things one step at a time. How you react under pressure is a true test for a positive attitude and caring about people. Oh, it's easy to be positive when events are going your way and to care about people when they act nice to you. But what about when they don't? What about when events don't go your way or when people aren't so nice? We're all placed under pressure at times. It's how we react under that pressure that counts. Unfortunately, there's one problem with losing your cool. It doesn't work. When you blow up at people, it just makes matters worse, and you usually end up regretting it later. In his book, How to Get People to Do Things, Robert Conklin asks you to imagine yourself in the following situation. You're driving your brand new car down the road. As you're driving, you see a small boy waving his arm. When you pass him, he throws a rock at your car. Thud! Your windshield cracks. Well, you jam on the brakes, you jump out of the car and start toward the boy. With each step, you become more and more upset. By the time you reach the kid, your blood pressure has reached the boiling point and you're screaming at the top of your lungs. There he stands. He's frightened. He's full of tears. He looks up at you and he says, "I'm sorry I did that, but it was the only way I knew to stop your car." Then he points to the trees behind the road and he says, "My little brother fell out of the tree and he's hurt real bad. Will you help him?" Now how do you feel? Truth is, people aren't always as innocent as that little boy. Far from it. But 9 times out of 10, when we lose our cool, we end up wishing we hadn't. Let's take a moment now so you can discuss some of the pressures you can expect on your job and how to keep your cool. So there you have it. 3 key behavioral qualities: enthusiasm, sensitivity, and composure. They're essential to your success and the success of our company. Now, let's move to our next category, on-the-job performance. In this section, we'll learn 5 professional skills and 2 business skills. The 5 professional skills are appearance, knowledge, detail, time management, and commitment. Let's begin with appearance. Look professional as we join Jack and Frank.
Hey, Frank, how's my tie look?
Oh, great, Jack, just great.
If you look good, you feel good. It's common sense. Jack was well-groomed and looked ready to work. Frank was sloppy, poorly groomed, and frustrated. Before Frank opens his mouth, much has already been said because of his appearance. Looking professional is the first step towards excellence. It means taking pride in yourself. John T. Malloy is the author of Dress for Success. He's one of the world's most recognized experts on appearance. Malloy's research states that good salespeople pay more attention to their wardrobes. In fact, proper dress and good grooming habits are vital to everyone's success. Well, in his book, Malloy tells the story of a young man who sought his advice on appearance. His problem was that he wasn't successful with women, and what he really wanted was to meet a nice young lady and get married. Malloy gave him some advice on dress and appearance, but didn't see his client again for a year. When at last they got together, Malloy asked if his advice had worked. "Oh, yes," said the young man, "so much that I no longer want to get married." Let's pause now so that you and your instructor can discuss your appearance in your department. Now let's move on to our next professional skill, knowledge. Know your job. This time we see Kathy and Frank.
Yeah, okay. Right, I'll pass it on. Thanks for calling. Bye. Frank, we're having a meeting to go over the new purchasing system. It starts in 10 minutes.
Oh, I hate new systems. Tell them I'm busy or something, okay?
Okay.
If there's one thing worse than not knowing your job, it's not caring to find out. Nice going, Frank. But do we ever really know everything about our jobs? Probably not. Knowledge is an ongoing process. But the more we know, the better our chances of achieving excellence. As business analyst Alan Adams once said, information is the factor that separates those who will progress in the next decade from those who will be left behind. Don't be left behind. Know your job. I know a story about a novice parachutist who couldn't open the chute on his first jump. As he was falling toward the ground, he saw another guy flying upward past him. Calling frantically, he yelled, "You know anything about parachutes?" The guy going by yelled, "No! You know anything about gas barbecues?" Like these guys, we don't bother to learn as much as we can about our jobs. We're likely to run into some serious problems. Let's take a moment now so you can discuss what you need to know in your department. Now let's move on to our next professional skill, detail. Be neat and organized. Once again, let's take a look at Jack and Frank. You never get a second chance to make a good first impression. What shape would our showrooms be in if we had to rely on Frank? It's the little details that add up. That's what excellence is all about. After 20 years of experience with Disneyland, a Disney designer was asked the secret behind the Disney success. The answer was, it's the attention to infinite detail, the little things, the minor picky points that others don't want to take the time or effort to do. If you've ever been to Disneyland, you know what that Disney designer was talking about. The place is absolutely immaculate. In our company, detail starts with our parking lot and extends to the exterior of our buildings, our signage, our display floors, our price tags, our sales desks, our front counter, our corridors, our restrooms, our customer pickup areas, our delivery and service vehicles, everything. And every area our customer comes in contact with is how we are judged in the eyes of the public. Ask yourself, what is our customers' first impressions when they walk into our showroom or when one of our vehicles pulls up to their home? Would it live up to Walt Disney's standards? It's up to all of us to see that it does. But detail is not just important for impression's sake. It's also an important organizational skill. For example, your desk, your files, your notes. If they're all well organized, you will be more efficient. And of course, when you're asked to do something that can't be done right away, write it down. There's an old Chinese proverb that says, "The strongest memory is weaker than the palest ink." Let's pause so that you and your instructor can discuss detail as it applies to you, your department, and our company. Now let's move on to our next professional skill, time management. Use time wisely. Now we see Frank wasting time.
Oh, yeah, Sue, it was a great weekend. Bob and I went over to Shelley's place, right? And she's got this deck, like it's about 80 feet long. It's huge. And one of those new gas... And her shoes were like hanging up in the tree. I don't know how they got there. And then on Sunday, we, Sue?
Oh, were you saying something, Frank?
Frank, don't waste your time, and don't waste your co-workers' time. We all enjoy each other's company, and that's fine. In fact, we encourage it. But Frank plain overdoes it. It's been said that the dividing line between success and failure can often be expressed in 4 words. I didn't have time. And in most cases, that's due to poor time management. Good time management also means punctuality, being on time for work and meetings. We all have excuses for being late. There's a story I know that former Senator Clinton Anderson once told of an employee who showed up an hour late at the General Accounting Office. The worker limped, was bruised and battered about the face, and carried his arm in a sling. Well, his section chief snarled at him and glanced at the clock. "But I fell out of the window," the timid worker explained. "And that took you an hour?" We laugh at this exaggerated story about punctuality, but our company sets a very high standard for being on time. Time management doesn't have to take the fun out of work. In fact, it helps us to achieve excellence and gets our work done on time. That makes everybody's life easier. Let's take a moment now to discuss time management in your department. Finally, let's take a look at our last point under professional skills: commitment. Give extra effort. This time we see Jack and Frank.
Thanks again, Mrs. Stevens, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Hey, Frank, let's go back and pick up those other deliveries.
Hey, you find yourself another helper. I'm tired. I'm going home.
Find yourself another helper. That's great, Frank. Lee Iacocca, the chairman of the board of Chrysler, once said, "In the workplace, as with everything in life, commitment separates the successful from the unsuccessful. You won't achieve excellence without it. The person who gets ahead is the one who does more than what is asked and keeps on doing it." Business analyst Tom Peters tells of a Federal Express employee from the telecommunications group. The telephone lines were down, so no customer calls were getting through. Well, the young guy got hold of the telephone company and was told that there was a bad storm with a lot of snow, and they probably couldn't repair the line for 5 days. That wasn't good enough for the Federal Express employee. Jumped in his truck, tried to drive to the top of the hill where the damaged terminal was. The snow was so deep he had to turn back. So now what does he do? He calls his manager. They decide to rent a helicopter. Well, the snow is so deep they can't land, so the guy jumps into the snow up to his waist, muscles his way up the slope, and connects the line so his customers would get the service they paid for. Now that's commitment. Let's pause now so that you, with your instructor, can discuss commitment and how you can give extra effort in your department. You have now learned 5 professional skills: appearance, knowledge, detail, time management, and commitment. Now let's move on to business skills. There's a simple formula that illustrates how all businesses work. Sales minus expenses equal profit. Simple, right? We must sell as many products as possible in order to make a profit, but we must watch our expenses because they take away from profit. Let's look at the first part of our formula and the first point under business skills. Sales. Sell to your friends. This time we see Kathy and Frank.
Hey, Kathy, you going to Tom and Debbie's wedding?
No, I didn't even know they were getting married.
Huh.
I wonder if they need any furniture.
Yeah, they probably do. I could ask them. Nah, I don't want to be too pushy.
Frank, how can offering your friends quality furniture at guaranteed lowest prices be pushy? Never forget, we're in the business of selling. There's a man world famous for his extraordinary sales ability. His name is Joe Girard. Now, Joe Girard has long been known as the most successful salesperson in the history of the automobile business. In his heyday, he was prone to fantastic demonstrations of his eagerness to do business with you. One of the legends has it that Joe once climbed to the very top of the football stadium in his hometown and hurled thousands of his business cards to the crowd below. Well, if Joe Girard can try selling cars to an entire football stadium full of people, surely we can try to sell furniture to our friends. Everyone is a potential customer, and every sale benefits all of us. Let's take a moment now so that you can discuss how to sell to your friends and all of your acquaintances. Let's move to the second part of our formula, sales minus expenses equal profit, and our second point under business skills, expenses keep costs down. This time we see Kathy, Sue, and Frank.
Gee, it's amazing how much we spend on office supplies.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder where it all goes.
Dear Mom. Nah. Hi, Mom? No. I don't want to write a letter anyway. Why don't I just call her? I'll call her long distance. Yeah.
Nice going, Frank. Yeah, that's a funny scene, but it makes a serious point. All those wasteful habits add up to a very big expense. Recently, a large U.S. corporation did a study of its waste baskets. They found that they were losing hundreds of thousands of dollars each year in stationery items that could have seen further use. We must all watch expenses. If we don't keep costs down, it won't matter how many sales we have, we won't end up with a profit. A major cost in the furniture business is damaged merchandise. How we handle our goods can make us or break us. And the way we handle our vehicles and equipment is also very important. Repairs are very costly. Everywhere you turn, there are ways that you can help keep costs down. Let's pause so that you and your instructor can discuss expenses and how you can keep costs down in your department. Basic business skills can be summed up in our simple formula. Sales minus expenses equal profit. We can all impact the bottom line, or profit of our company, by encouraging our friends and acquaintances to buy from our store and by keeping costs down. That then completes this section of our course. Now, let's move to our final category. As I mentioned earlier, our behavior and performance ultimately affect our commitment to our customer. Here is a shocking statistic. Surveys examining why customers stop doing business with department stores show that 4% moved away, 5% changed because of a friend's recommendation, 9% leave for competitive reasons, 14% are dissatisfied with the products, and get this, 68% stop coming back because of the poor behavior or performance of some employee. We won't stand for that in our company. Our commitment is to our customer, and that commitment means total customer service. If your job involves customer contact, you have an opportunity to serve our customer directly. If it doesn't, your performance still ultimately affects our customer. Now let's take a look at Frank.
I have a problem. We picked up a table today, and when we opened it, it was all banged up.
Frank, you're not handling boxes. You're handling our customers' merchandise. In the office, we're not handling paperwork. We're handling our customers' accounts. When Frank dropped that box, he dropped a piece of our customers' pride and joy. Everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes we're all going to drop a box or lose a file. We're human. What's important is remembering what happens to our customers because of our mistakes and then correcting them. Frank should have checked the merchandise when he dropped the box to see if there was any damage done. Our customer worked hard for that table, and she deserves to be proud of it. Let's face it, we're all materialistic to one degree or another, and we're all proud of our property. I'm reminded of a story about a successful young man who bought himself a brand new Mercedes-Benz. Absolutely beautiful. Had every conceivable option. Custom paint, all leather interior. He even went out and installed a top-of-the-line cellular telephone. Now this guy's wild about his car. He loved it more than anything. Well, one dark and stormy night, only a few days after driving the car off the lot, he was involved in a terrible accident. Unconscious, bleeding, the young fella lies down in the crushed remains of the Mercedes. When he finally came around, he was surrounded by paramedics. "Oh, my car," he moaned. "Listen, buddy," said one of the medics, "the car's demolished and you're in pretty bad shape. Just take it easy." "Hand me my car phone," he said. I got to call my insurance company." "Oh, I'm sorry," said the medic. "Your car phone's destroyed." "Oh, no, not my car phone." The medic tried to calm him down once more. He said, "Mister, listen, you've lost your left arm. Forget about the phone." "My left arm," he screamed. "Not my Rolex, too." What's funny about the story isn't the poor guy's misfortune, but his attachment to his possessions, above his health, even above his life. Materialism. My point is, we all take our hard-earned possessions seriously. When a customer parts with some of that hard-earned money to buy our products, it's important to keep in mind how significant those purchases really are. Since most of us find ourselves dealing directly with a customer at one time or another, it's essential that we all become familiar with what we call the ABCs of customer service. Any of us who come into contact with customers are on stage. You and I represent the company in their eyes. It's been said that the front line is the bottom line. How true. Think about it. When you're on a long trip and stop at a gas station, you judge that whole station on the service given by one pump jockey. The president of your bank may be the nicest guy in the world, but if the tellers are cold and unfeeling, you'll probably take your money elsewhere. As in any company, the impression we give to our customers is what counts. If the impression is good, people come back. If it's bad, people stay away. And what's even worse is a dissatisfied customer will tell their friends to stay away. According to a report from Management Horizons, a satisfied customer will tell one person about a good shopping experience. A dissatisfied customer will tell up to 16 people of their bad experience. At that rate, the bad word gets around fast. Fortunately, giving good customer service doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the basics are as simple as A, B, C. Greet customer with enthusiasm. Provide friendly, efficient service. And reinforce good decision and future service. Let's start with point A. Greet customer with enthusiasm. Let's see Kathy.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you today?
Fine, thanks.
How can I help you?
Good greeting, Kathy. Now let's watch Frank.
Can you help me, please?
Oh, yeah, I'll be with you in a minute.
Look, I'm in a hurry. Could you help me?
Yeah. Now, what did you want?
First impressions set the tone for the entire transaction. Kathy was enthusiastic, Frank was apathetic. What kind of impression would you have of our company if you were greeted by Frank? Would your impression be different if you were greeted by Kathy? Which person do you think our customer will have the most confidence in? Now, this may sound like common sense, but always greet your customer with a smile. A smile conveys a feeling of warmth and sincerity. In his book we talked about earlier, Robert Conklin states the following: "Smiling can help you do better at your job, be a more effective parent, and enjoy life more." Reports show that frowning physicians face twice as many malpractice suits as smiling doctors. One study revealed that 80% of the parents of juvenile delinquents were habitual non-smilers. Department store sales have gone up as much as 20% when salespeople have gone on a smiling campaign. It works. Let's take a look at Jack.
Good morning. How are you today?
Fine, thanks. And you?
Couldn't be better. How can I assist you today?
I'd like to see that bed you advertised.
The one for $398.
Yeah, that's right.
That's an exceptional value. Come on this way, I'll show it to you.
Jack did a great job of greeting our customer with enthusiasm. Let's see how Frank makes out.
Hi there.
Oh. Hi.
Can I help you?
I'd like to see that bed you have advertised.
Which one is that?
The one in the ad for $398.
Oh, well, I'll have to get a copy of the ad, and then I'll know which one you're talking about.
Poor Mr. Stevens. Who would want to be greeted like that? Let's take another look at greeting our customer, this time on the telephone. Here's Kathy and Frank.
Good morning, this is Kathy. How may I help you?
Yes, I'd like to speak to Frank.
Certainly. One moment, please.
That team couldn't hit their way out of a wet paper bag. Besides, I bet on the Yankees. Yeah, hello.
You can practically hear Kathy's smile over the phone. Serving customers over the telephone is an art. Kathy set the tone for a pleasant conversation. Frank, on the other hand, was, well, you saw for yourself. I don't know about you, but if I was the customer on the other end of the line when Frank answered, I'd have hung up hoping I'd reached the wrong company. Let's take some time now to review point A, greet customer with enthusiasm. If your job involves customer contact, we're going to give you an opportunity to practice your greeting. Your instructor will lead you in a role play session. Have fun. Now let's move on to point B. Provide friendly, efficient service. Here's Jack.
Wow, that should take care of those scratches, Mrs. Stevens. Would you like to take a look, make sure you're satisfied?
My, you wouldn't even know they were there.
Great. Now, you mentioned you had some concern about proper care of the table. Let me give you a few suggestions.
Jack not only repaired the customer's merchandise and gained her approval, but also offered information on the care and proper handling of her product. Jack is a professional. Now let's watch Frank.
Well, that takes care of that. You want to sign here?
Well, wait a minute. Didn't you bring my handles?
Handles? Doesn't say anything here about any handles. Huh.
Remember, this is public relations. It's your job to impress people. Frank didn't even ask Mrs. Stevens to inspect the table for her approval. And on top of all that, he forgot the handles for the other piece. Let's take a look at Kathy and see how she handles our customers, Mr. and Mrs. Stevens, when taking personal and confidential information for a credit application.
Mr. Stevens, who are you employed with? Could I get your gross monthly income? And Mrs. Stevens, your employer? And your monthly income? And what bank do you deal with? Okay. And the address of the branch? And could I have you initial here for your credit insurance?
When we're required to ask personal questions from our customers, it's important to use tact. Kathy does a great job. Now let's watch Frank.
Who do you work for? What do you make? Mrs. Stevens, are you a housewife or do you work for a living? Oh, so how much do you make? Bank? Branch?
Hold it. Is there anyone else who can do this?
How would you like personal questions asked the way Frank did? Even though we all realize that some personal information is necessary to make a credit purchase, it's a lot easier to part with if the atmosphere isn't like some kind of third degree. Our commitment is to our customer, and that means friendly, efficient service. Let's pause now to review point B, provide friendly, efficient service. And once again, if your job involves customer contact, you will have an opportunity to role play. This time, you'll role play points A and B. Now let's take a look at point C, reinforce good decision and future service. Here's Kathy with Mr. Stevens.
I bought some furniture here last week, and I was hoping to have it delivered tomorrow.
Gee, I'd love to have it out to you tomorrow, but we're already booked. Would Wednesday be all right?
Gee, I don't know. I suppose Wednesday would be all right.
Great. Now, do you have your sales invoice with you? Okay, Mr. Stevens, you're all set. I'm sure you'll be very pleased with your purchase, but if you do have any problems, please give us a call. We want you to be completely satisfied.
Kathy made our customer feel good about his purchase and left him feeling like he would be looked after in the future if he needed any help. Here's Frank in the same situation.
I bought some furniture here last week, and I was hoping to have it delivered tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, you're too late.
Too late? But I need it tomorrow.
Gee, I'm sorry, we're booked.
Booked. Well, when aren't you booked?
Well, I could get it out to you on Wednesday.
Wednesday? All right, deliver it on Wednesday. Fine.
Fine. Invoice, please.
Frank did nothing to make our customer feel good about his purchase. And what's even worse, I'm sure he's got our customer wondering about our service. Haven't you felt a twinge of panic a couple of hours or days after making a major purchase? I'm the worst with automobiles. I'm always sure I made the perfect choice at the time, but give me a day or so and I'm full of doubt. Maybe I should have bought the Toyota instead of the Chevy. Nah, maybe the Mazda was a better deal. I don't know. Somebody please help me feel like I made the right decision. Let's take some time now to review point C, reinforce good decision and future service, and for customer contact personnel to role play points A, B, and C. Now let's see how Jack uses all of the ABCs of customer service in one transaction.
Good morning. My name's Jack. I have a delivery for you.
Great, come right in.
Where in particular would you like this placed?
Would you mind bringing it up here?
No problem. Well, that just about takes care of it. You picked yourself out a really nice table.
Well, thank you. We sure like it.
If you do have any problems with it, please give us a call. We want to make sure that you're completely satisfied.
Thanks, we will.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye now.
Jack followed all 3 steps beautifully. Let's take a look at Frank.
Hi, got your delivery for you. Where do you want this sucker?
Could you wipe your feet?
Don't worry about it, they're clean. Well, that takes care of that. See ya.
I don't know about you, but if Frank entered my home like that, I'd be on the phone to that company complaining to the manager, then I'd tell everyone I knew not to shop there. Remember, bad word travels fast. So there you have it, the ABCs of customer service. Greet customer with enthusiasm, provide friendly, efficient service, and reinforce good decision and future service. Remember, the ABCs of customer service apply to all customer transactions. During brief transactions, telephone and front desk personnel don't always have an opportunity to reinforce the sale, but they should do so whenever they do have the opportunity. There's nothing more important than giving our customers enthusiastic, friendly, efficient service and leaving them with a good feeling about their purchases and our company's service. Remember, the customer is not an interruption of your job. The customer is the reason you have a job. In our company, we have two important rules that explain our commitment to our customer. Customer satisfaction rule number 1, the customer is always right. Customer satisfaction rule number 2, in the event the customer is wrong, see rule number 1. That completes our commitment to our customer portion of our course. Let's review what we've learned since the beginning of the program. Our company values influence our on-the-job behavior and our on-the-job performance, which ultimately affect our commitment to our customer. Our company values are: we are a team. We are positive. We care about people. We achieve excellence. We are sales and profit motivated. We have integrity. And we are accountable. We learned 3 key qualities: enthusiasm, sensitivity, and composure, and 5 professional skills: appearance, knowledge, detail, time management, and commitment. We also learned basic business skills. Sales minus expenses equal profit. And the ABCs of customer service: greet customer with enthusiasm, provide friendly, efficient service, and reinforce good decision and future service. We've covered a lot of material in this program, and you're probably wondering, when I leave this classroom, where do I begin? Well, if you live by our company values, everything else will come easy. And remember what Thomas Edison said: enthusiasm is the starting point of all success. I figured that'd be as good a place as any to start with Frank. Remember the as-if principle? If you want a quality, act as if you already have it. Well, I decided to try it out on Frank. Oh, hi, Frank. Glad I bumped into you. Look, do you have a minute? I'd like to talk to you.
Yeah, sure, Mike.
Oh, great. How about we use this office?
All right.
Frank, you've got a lot of natural ability, a lot of talent.
Gee, thanks, Mike.
Unfortunately, there's a problem. I've been concerned about you for some time now. I find you almost totally lacking in enthusiasm.
Yeah, well, I've never had a lot of enthusiasm.
Well, Frank, I've got an idea, and I think it'll help. It's called the as-if principle, and it works like this. Actually, Frank, I have to accept some of the responsibility. After all, I let this problem go on far too long. But at least we know what to do about it now, huh?
Yeah, sure do. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, well, tomorrow when you come back to work, let's get out there and act with enthusiasm. Thanks a lot, Frank.
Morning, Ted. Gonna be a busy day, but nothing we can't handle, right? Morning, ladies. Gonna be a great day, isn't it?
Sure is. Frank?
Morning, Jack.
Morning, Frank.
Ted and I are really gonna go for it today.
Frank, are you feeling all right?
Jack, I feel great. It's a beautiful recliner, Mrs. Stevens. I know you're going to enjoy it. And if you have any problems, please be sure to give us a call. We want you to be completely satisfied.
Well, thanks, Frank. You sure did a good job.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Good job, Frank. Walt Disney said, "You can dream, create, design, and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it requires people to make the dream a reality." Thank you for joining our team. Together, we can make our dreams a reality. Good luck.